Hi guys, I'm Chandra Feldman. I am a marketing specialist here at Nex-Tech. I've worked here for almost 2 years. I assist in planning and executing residential campaigns and events. I have a degree in graphic design. I've wandered from that a little bit, but I'm still happy to be a part of the process with our team. I've worked in the creative industry for almost 10 years, and that's ranged from an intern, a production assistant, all the way to a marketing director. So I have a very diverse background. Um, I'm also a proud optimist. I always have a new idea, which is sometimes not always a great thing, but I also love to learn new things. And so I'm super excited to be in the technology field and be with the team that I am. But to move on, why you guys are here, we have a couple of things to talk about today that we hope everyone has questions on and maybe get some answers as well. So, what we're going to cover is different types of events and why they're important. We're going to cover how to effectively promote your event and to actually get people to come. We're going to talk about how to engage that audience and then events that worked well for us and then some that didn't. So maybe you can learn from our mistakes along the way. So, something that really rings true to me working at Nex-Tech is we're really involved with the communities. The importance of a lot of these events is just to connect with our consumers, our communities, anyone in between that is thinking about getting service or they want their granddaughter to sign up for service. We love building relationships with all entities of our communities, which I'm sure most of you guys can second that. We boost our brand visibility as much as we can. And then we also always want to engage with the community on any level that we possibly can. We have this really cool event checklist that we get to send all of you guys after the presentation today. It has definitely been a lifesaver for some of us. When I first started with Nex-Tech, I wasn't as familiar with planning some of these events. And so over the last 2 years, I've gotten the chance to work on a couple of different ones, and it's been pretty fun. We've learned a lot, and that's really the goal. Really, the thing that I try to keep in mind the most is who is impacted. So, from employees to departments to people in your communities, different entities that would be impacted in your community. All of these things are going to be covered in the event checklist. But one way to do that is by partnering with local entities. We've partnered with local ice barns, local festivals. So we'll give away a free ice cream cone or shaved ice if you go to the Downs Festival, and then you also get a month free if you sign up for our service. So that's 3 different entities that we're cross promoting. That's always been really helpful. Plus, we get to boost the community at the same time. We like to cover our bases. We want to make sure that we're thinking about the in between and we're really considering any perspective that could come across, whether it's the guy that's been trying to get internet for a year, but he's just outside of the build zone. We want to make sure that he feels appreciated and represented, as well as maybe the person that hasn't heard of Nex-Tech. And we do, I was going to go back actually. Oh, I don't think I can. I can. We have been working on a lot of things with our local businesses as well. We're building out a little bit more in some more metropolitan areas. And so pairing with local coffee houses, bookstores, we do some like, share, and wins on our Facebook page, which is really fun cross promotion and increases that brand visibility like we were talking about, but also gets a little bit more of a fan base for us, whether they're customers now. They see that we're involved in their community and that by becoming a customer, they're also supporting their community at the same time. How to get people to attend. This is kind of a hit or miss. We have had a lot of highs and lows for this. We implemented a transition from basic TV to streaming TV, mostly in 2024. We started a little bit in 2023. This was a very specific group of people that we were trying to reach. And so we knew that we needed to get things that they were going to pay attention to. We wanted to meet them where they were. We were sending emails. We had landing pages where they could sign up and see the different time slots available for certain events. We made sure that there were different time slots available for different events so that they could come at various times throughout the day. We made sure that they were getting letter copies. We had our customer service agents calling these people to let them know that we had tutorials coming for their transition to their community. A lot of times it was with someone that they were familiar with. They were going to be a lot more comfortable transitioning that service that unfortunately they had to with a little bit of training. We did do some Facebook ads. It wasn't really the consumer that was going to be on Facebook, but it was a nice way to cover our bases. And then we worked with local entities like chambers, any sort of local clubs, Rotary clubs, anything like that that can help us get the word out. That was always really helpful too. We also set our expectations. I think Luke is on this call. He can help with this one a little bit. We did our best to predict how many people we would have come to these events. I think Luke did get a fair amount of leftover pie from some of these events. And we just kind of learned as we went. We did break it down by regions for our TV transition service. And based on those areas and the amount of customers we had on our current TV system, we would hope for the best and make sure that our employees got extra pie in the meantime. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Lindsay?
I think what was important for these events, these were educational type events. We weren't trying to get somebody to buy something. We were trying to educate them on how to use a new TV system that Nex-Tech was switching over to. I think the important thing for us here was that we had a lot of them and in all of our office locations so that people didn't have to travel a long way to make it to one. And we offered multiple time slots. I think we would, pick a day and offer 4 different times during that day where they could pop in and pick which time worked best for them, excuse me. So we tried to be as flexible as we could to make it convenient for people.
With that too, one of the things that helped with the transition, in my opinion, was that we were offering credits. So we knew that some people may be familiar with streaming TV services already, but some weren't going to be. And so we did offer a credit that would cover a streaming stick device if they needed one. And that's kind of what we were there to break down for them a little bit. This is how our TV streaming system works, but this is how TV streaming systems in general work. This is how you'll be able to get the things that you've wanted but didn't know how quite to access and everything in between. So it wasn't just, take our TV service and we'll give you a piece of pie. It really was, what are you struggling with? What do you need to know? And how can we meet you in the middle? So really just listening to the audience and making sure that we could make them as happy as possible. Towards the end of these transitions, we would put TV pop-ups on the screen as well to let them know that they were going to have a local event coming up. Towards the end of TV Now, we did offer some online tutorials and even then went back to offering that tutorial on our Channel 1 TV system. So we made it incredibly accessible for these people so that way they had as many options to learn, rewatch, revisit any of these tutorials along the way. This is kind of the bread and butter for me. I really like to have an intent that helps me streamline my goals when it comes to these events. Some of them are education. We recently started offering the Nex-Tech Academy, which is a great way to offer education on how to be safe online, when it's safe to use, what you shouldn't be clicking on. And the resources that are available to people. Some of these events are sign-up events, which are always super fun. We do try to make those a little bit extra as well by offering food or bringing some sort of trinkets. Sometimes we like to do giveaways. And some of these events are just customer appreciation events. We've done some pumpkin decorating contests. We've done some I'm kind of blanking on any other ones, but we've done a lot of them. I promise you that. Last night we did a sign up and dine in Herndon, actually, and that one really surprised me more than a lot of the other ones, but we'll get to that. Um, this one is events that have worked, just to kind of talk to you guys about our experiences for the TV Now. We did start doing 2 TV giveaways a month. Towards the end of our shutdown, we even did like chamber dollar giveaways for the communities that hadn't seen as many conversions as we had wanted. We've tried things like ladies' nights. We've had a couple different versions of those. Lindsay can talk about an open house one that we did. And then a little bit while later, we went in and tried something a little bit different. It was cocktails and calligraphy. So it was something that they couldn't get in the community. It was completely out of the range of a fiber sign up and dine event, but it was a great outcome. And it was a really good opportunity for us to kind of hear some of the pain points that our future customers were having with their current providers, and try to fill in some of those gaps and make some reassurances. Can you tell us a little bit about the open house that you guys had at the Salina Country Club and why you think it was different, Lindsay?
Yeah, I can. So the community that we're going into was a very large community compared to most of our other service area, and Nex-Tech was pretty new to the area, so it was hard for us to try to engage the entire community, especially because we're building that area in a phased approach, and anything that we could offer a specific part of town didn't always necessarily correlate to the rest of the town. So we were trying to pick specific event spaces within the zones where we were working. So we picked a country club location and had everything lined up to have a sign up event at this location. But what we recognized was people are not in generally going to take time out of their day to travel, across town, even if it's not that far, to come sign up for something. If just signing up for service was what we were asking them to do, especially in a competitive market. So where Chandra has referenced the sign up and dine events, typically those are done in grant funded fiber areas where customers don't have service or they don't have good service. So they are excited and they're looking for anything new. But in a super competitive market where there's other competition, it takes a little bit more intentionality to really connect with the people there. So we did not find those successful. We didn't find a lot of people making the time to come out and meet a new business that they didn't have any relationship with before. But the calligraphy event was at the same exact venue, but because we paired it with free drinks and an arts and crafts activity that the ladies could take home, that instantly gave us a captive audience that we could talk to about our services and just kind of peruse the room during the activity. And that was a much better outcome. And we ended up with a lot better turnout. The picture in the middle of this slide too is a different golf course country club event, and this was just on their typical ladies' night. We just popped in and brought koozies and trinkets and flyers and talked to them for 5 minutes about what we're doing and who we are. And so I think a lot of times it doesn't have to be an event that you put on and plan yourself, but just find ways that you can partner with those other events that are already happening, other entities that are having groups of people together that you want to talk to, and just find a way to come alongside them.
Yeah, they're already hosting your consumer. So just meeting that consumer where they are and coming to them, not necessarily with the intention of, I need you to sign up now. I'll be honest, at that ladies' night where all those girls are smiling, I did offer extra drink tickets if they got onto our portal and signed up right away. So some of them got a little extra, but I really just read the room and it was a really fun crowd and we got along, we bonded. I got to hear some of the struggles that they've had, and we kind of just grew relationships with them, which I think is kind of what a lot of us are trying to do. Giveaways, I don't think I really probably have to tell any of you guys, but everyone loves a giveaway. We've given away a lot of trinkets. We've given away TVs, the chamber checks that we've kind of mentioned. But something else that really helps these events stand out is asking your employees to attend the events that are local because you really want the customer to feel like they can identify with your brand and with your company. And we were talking about our fiber sign up and dine events. So typically, based on the number of addresses accounted for in these fiber builds, we've seen about a 16% attendance rate with the invitation sent out and the people that we had hoped to come. Some of these areas that we've done this in is Gem, Kerwin, Clayton, rural Saline. I know there's another one that we did this year, but we just did Herndon last night, and I was shocked by how many people that we had. And I think that the biggest factor for us was their local tech is a very popular, outspoken guy. He's the mayor in a nearby town, and he was just advertising the event like he couldn't help it. He even convinced the local city clerk in Herndon to send out our event flyer and all of the city bills for the month before. And it was really awesome to be able to see everyone coming out. Everyone had questions. Some of them were already customers, but everyone was super excited, and it was a really uplifting event. Some events that didn't work. I've been here for some of these, not all of them, but I think really Lindsay made a good point. You know, we want to give people a reason to take time out of their schedules. We're busy, they're busy. We can offer them free tacos any day, even if it's the parking lot of their apartment building. But if they think that they're going to have to sign up for something, or if they think that there's going to be a contingency, they're probably not going to make the extra effort. We have tried a couple of different events with students, just trying to reach that younger market. Most of the time, those have been on campus events, and a lot of those students in our area at least live on campus. So we're not able to offer them services. Every once in a while, we'd get an educator or an admin that was interested in services, and so we were able to sign them up. It's great brand awareness, and it was really fun to get pictures and get involved in the community, and maybe we're building a relationship with a future customer, but it wasn't quite the intention that we had hoped for. Do you want to mention anything about the taco truck, Lindsay? Or is John on the call?
I can speak to the taco truck. This was what we call our MDU taco truck. I know a lot of you are probably in the MDU space or looking into ways that you can get service to multi-dwelling units, and then how you can get a large take rate of people to take your service when we do that. And so that was kind of our intent with these. As we were moving into new apartment buildings, we installed service to every apartment, and then it was time to sign everybody up. The idea was that we would put a taco truck in the parking lot, and we would give everybody free tacos. We'd tell them about Nex-Tech service, and they could come learn about us, but nobody came. So I think too, what we recognized is, people live on very different schedules, and people are coming and going at different times. And, maybe because a group of people live in the same building, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are, a tight-knit community. So things that have worked better for us than doing an event like this at an MDU have been leave behind things. We've done, door hangers, or we've left decorated pumpkins on doorsteps, and little things like that. We've seen a better response rate than some kind of event for MDUs.